Well, right now, the protests are taking place all over the world. They've taken on a global nature, unlike anything that we've seen in recent history. Would you say that this is a sign of humanity placing greater emphasis on this common essence?
Yes, yes. Man has no other destiny. There is no separate destiny. He may dream a different destiny, or he may have an illusion or delusion of a different destiny. But the human destiny is one. Allah says that He created man and from min nafsin wahida, from a single personality, a single soul. And another place in the Quran it says, and your creation and your resurrection is as a single soul, meaning that your origin and where you're headed is as a single soul. So we're living in the time of the conclusion of the matter, where we all recognizing that we have the same human destiny, and that we have to get on the same page in terms of cooperation and work against that which wants to separate us from our human potential, or wants to disrespect our human potential. And so we're seeing now in the United States of America attention being given to removing the impediments that have historically been weighed down communities, non-white communities in America. So this is a reality. We know it's a reality. Even though for us Muslims, we have a kind of a different way of addressing the problem, but the problem exists. We're not saying that the problem doesn't exist. We just have a different way of addressing the problem than the majority. And I've mentioned this before, that we're different. We have a different point of view and different language to describe what we're looking at. But essentially, we see the problem. But we believe that the answer is not to cry out for the society to embrace us. The answer is for us to embrace our human life and to insist from ourselves that we produce upon that we produce and we build upon that. And we don't have to explain ourselves or ask permission for that. It's a demand in all of us. And it's a demand in all human communities. And once we establish a momentum with that attitude, the issue for systemic racism will perhaps it will never completely go away, because we know there's the influence of the bad people and the influence of their reach and their interest in controlling resources. We know that will perhaps never go away, but we will gain the momentum and the confidence to defeat it on every point of conflict. And that's the example of Muhammad the Prophet, that good in the world, justice in the world can prevail. It can prevail. And it prevails upon consistency in the messaging, meaning that we not only point at injustice in the outer, but we also point at where we are falling short. We do the same. We recognize our own neglect and our own troubles, and we improve ourselves while also pointing out the issues in the bigger society. This is the consistency that is the demand that is required, so that we come to the place where justice prevails. Justice will not prevail unless we have this discipline in us. So when we see protests, there's a difference between protests and riot. There's a difference between protests and looting. There's a difference between protests and destruction of property. There's a difference. And we have to recognize the difference. We can't give the answer when we're asked, well, this is the result of frustration. This is why these buildings are being torched, because of frustration. Well, this may be the answer. This may be the reason, but it's not acceptable in the cause of justice. We'll not have justice. Justice will not come to prevail in our lives if we don't discipline ourselves to answer the requirement of justice for our own life. So maybe we're different in the sense that others will not speak this truth because they want to remain popular. They want to be the regular guests on CNN or whatever the news programs are. But when we speak the complete or the accurate truth of the matter, we recognize that there's a bigger responsibility upon us than there is upon others who we're looking to acknowledge us.